You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now it's 7. We'll meet a Southeast Kansas woman who was the victim of an imposter scam. Those are seeing a pretty significant increase.
Also, if you're traveling for Labor Day, you may want to listen up. AAA expects travel to be extremely busy this year.
And we've got a beautiful start to the day across the 4 states. We're going to be a little warmer. We'll tell you about how warm it's going to get and what the Labor Day weekend looks like coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is just after 7 a.m. on this Tuesday morning on the downhill run to Friday. We have got beautiful weather out there and it's just going to be great until it stops being great. And we'll talk about when that's going to happen here in just a little bit. But there's also something else a little scary going on, imposter scams.
Yes, absolutely. The Federal Trade Commission processed 2.4 million fraud reports in 2022 with an $8.8 billion price tag. According to the FTC, identity theft and imposter scams top the list.
Criminals in the case that we're about to tell you about are still active. And for that reason, we've decided to keep our victims' identity hidden.
They said that they were so-and-so from the fraud department with Chime and that we've seen fraudulent activity on your account.
An account owned by this woman, who we will refer to as Letitia. It started with text messages on Letitia's mother's phone telling her someone had made criminal transactions with her card at a Big Lots and transferred $35 to an inmate. Her mother immediately started calling her bank, but couldn't get through. That's when the phone rang.
So she brought the phone to me and was like, they're asking for you. It's your card that's being hacked, not mine.
But it wasn't Chime's fraud department on the other end of the line, and Letitia's card did not have any fraudulent charges. Yet.
The first one was to an All-Star Liquor and then a Shell station.
The scammers on the phone with Letitia the entire time.
While I was on my phone, doing my banking app, watching my money just come out.
Until her account was drained.
It did seem legit, and these people are going to seem legit. They've practiced their scripts. They have scripts that they're reading from, and they're training new people every day to scam people out of money.
Officer Randa Andrews with the Baxter Springs Police Department says imposter scams like this are becoming all too common. According to the Federal Trade Commission, for every 5 imposter scam attempts, at least one person loses money.
Anywhere from $250 all the way up to, several $1,000s.
And those dollars add up. Kansas reported more than $40 million in fraud losses last year. Oklahoma, nearly $55 million, and Missouri topped $83 million in fraud losses in 2022.
Some of these people don't work anymore, and that's their retirement.
From pop-up ads online to long-distance social media connections, Officer Andrews says scammers will find a way to get to you. The most popular, though, is through text and phone calls. Her best advice, just hang up. Fortunately for Letitia, after filing a police report and a dispute with Chime, she did get her money back. As for her scammers, Officer Andrews tracked them to Florida and is currently working with Orlando police to identify them.
And scammers don't just target the elderly. According to the FTC, in 2022, younger people reported losing money to fraud more often than older people.
However, the average dollar amount lost did grow as the victim aged. So definitely a scary situation. You've got to make sure that you're keeping track of things out there, watching out for yourself, watching out for your family as well.
Just don't answer if it's a stranger.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a look at what we've got going on outside. Our camera, 7th and Range Line. Looking pretty good, clear skies, and the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line also showing those clear skies across the area. We got some sunshine going, got a great start across the region. We're going to be a little warmer today, but not overly so. We're going to be about average. And as we get our morning started, we're looking pretty good. We're going to be mid-60s here in the next hour or so. Mostly clear skies. We're pushing a little closer to 80 by late morning. Again, ahead of a slightly warmer day. Unfortunately, the word or the phrase slightly warmer isn't going to apply to what we're expecting this weekend. We'll have a complete look at your forecast and the latest on Hurricane Idalia here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
A new law in Missouri will take a more hands-off approach to the way you drive. The sit-ins benign hands-free law goes into effect today. The new law prohibits handheld cell phone use while driving. And it's not just cell phones, it's any electronic communication device like pagers and tablets. There are specific exemptions in the law for drivers communicating in emergency situations, emergency first responders, and other emergency roadside workers, and for hire drivers. Penalties for violation of the law will be enacted beginning January 1st, 2025 to allow adequate time for public education. The U.S. Department of Agriculture plans to make a sizable investment in the sunflower state. The USDA is investing $49.1 million to help rural utilities build and improve clean drinking water and sanitary wastewater systems in rural Kansas. Some of those grants and loans will go to Neosho County and the cities of Girard and Humboldt for various projects such as construction of a new booster pump, water system refurbishment, the replacement of miles of mains, and improvements to the supply intake system. Travelers gearing up for the holiday weekend can expect more traffic than last year. Experts say gas prices are likely to deter the late summer road trip. That goes for travelers in the air as well. According to AAA booking data, flights, hotels, rental cars, and cruises are all up over 2022. INRIX, a global provider of transportation data and insights, expects this Thursday between 2 and 6 p.m. to be the busiest time on the roads. Anyone flying over the holiday weekend should check airline schedules for delays or cancellations before leaving for the airport. And coming up, Jasmine Guile from the SEK Humane Society drops by not only to make a pet connection, but to explain how you could get a new furry best friend.
And we'll tell you how COVID can lead to you having severe high blood pressure. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
In Health Watch this morning, choosing the right foods for breakfast might help you start your day off on the right foot. Dietitians with the Cleveland Clinic warn against choosing products that may be marketed as healthy but contain high amounts of sugar and processed ingredients. They say breakfast items that are low in sugar will prevent dips in your blood sugar throughout the day, and food with plenty of fiber will keep you energized and will improve digestion. Dietitians also say adding flax, chia seeds, or nuts to any meal can help increase your fiber intake. Mental health spending has surged in the U.S. since the pandemic. Researchers found American spending on mental health with private insurance jumped 54% between March 2020 and August 2022. The team reports anxiety and depression disorders saw the steepest increase at 45%, followed by post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar disorder, and schizophrenia. The study found the average spending rate was more than $3.5 million per 10,000 patients monthly, compared to about $2.3 million pre-pandemic. The report also found telehealth visits increased over 1,000% during the outbreak, but has since leveled off. And new research indicates getting the coronavirus can lead to one regular health risk, particularly for some people and categories. Scientists at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine and the Montefiore Health System in New York say a study involving 45,000 hospitalized patients showed that COVID-19 can lead to onset severe high blood pressure. Those with no previous COVID history, patients over 40, males, African Americans, and others who had some risky pre-existing conditions could develop consistent high blood pressure from COVID. The researchers hope the findings lead to closer blood pressure screenings of COVID patients. And a new poll says there are a lot of annoyed people out there and daily stressors come in threes. The survey of 2,000 people by Cadbury Time Out has come up with daily stressors that really bug the daylights out of people. Among the top stressors, flipping your wig, are getting stuck walking behind a slow person and having to listen to others' loud cell phone speakerphone conversations. Respondents say they get 3 stressful moments a day and need a break. Other key irritants are getting caught in traffic and congestion, forgetting an umbrella in the rain, stubbing your toe, family messing up your just cleaned home, and no food in the fridge at dinner time. During this National Immunization Awareness Month, experts want to make sure your vaccines are up to date. The newest COVID shots are expected to be made available next month, but as Michael George explains, there are many vaccines that safeguard against various diseases throughout our lives.
We need vaccines to stay safe and healthy from childhood to adulthood. That's the message doctors are emphasizing for people of all ages. For kids, parents should make sure children are up to date on their well visits and vaccinations. Many kids have missed them in the past few years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The CDC reminds parents that children who are not vaccinated are more likely to get diseases like measles and whooping cough, which can be dangerous, especially for infants and young children. 4 million deaths worldwide are prevented by childhood vaccination every year, according to the CDC. In recent years, there have been several outbreaks of vaccine-preventable diseases, including measles, mumps, and whooping cough, which is concerning to the medical community. And adults need vaccines too. For example, the shingles shot and Tdap shot are recommended for adults over 50. You may need other vaccines based on your age and other factors, so it's critical to talk with your doctor to discuss what vaccines you should get. With COVID-19 cases increasing and flu season just around the corner, doctors say those shots should also be on your vaccine checklist.
With COVID-19 cases increasing and flu season just around the corner, doctors say those shots should also be on your vaccine checklist.
Well, we've got ourselves a really nice start to the day across the area. In fact, as we get our morning started, looking great as we go mid-60s by 8, near 80 by late morning, as we are a little warmer today. As we get a little closer to average, unfortunately, we're really going to heat up as we head into the holiday weekend. We'll have another full look at that forecast in a few more minutes. And coming up, NASA and NOAA teaming up to map the most polluted cities in North America.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Joining us in studio today is Jasmine Kyle, the director of the SEK Humane Society. She's here to talk about the Clear the Shelters event and talk about some of the cute dogs at the shelter. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you this morning?
Doing great. So tell us what's the latest with the pups over at the SEK?
Yeah, so this month we have been partnered with NBC's worldwide Clear the Shelters event. So for the entire month of August, we have had all of our fur babies, cats and dogs included, reduced to just $25 for the entire month. Sorry, $20 for the entire month.
Wow,
Yeah.
Okay, that's a great deal. And so who are these cuties that we can expect that'll be up for grabs?
Yeah, so you can see all of our dogs on our website, but we have 3 to talk about today with you. So we have Everest. She is a gorgeous white husky mix. Okay. And then she was recently at the city's dog swim event this year. She does fantastic with kids, with other dogs. She was jumping in the pool. She is one that is, there she is. She is just $20 for this whole month. And you have a kid-friendly, human-friendly dog, just great with other animals, is super sweet and white as snow.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous dog.
Love that.
We do have Clifford as well. We called him Clifford
well,
because
hello,
he's
Clifford.
such a big old boy, but he is covered in spots, as you can see.
Yes.
Spots for the eyes can see. He is a 4-year-old blue heeler mix, sweetest soul that we have at our shelter, plus many, many more, but he has already been neutered, microchipped, heartworm tested, up to date on vaccinations. Again, just $20. And then we also have one more to show you. This is Gertie.
Oh, Gertie.
Gertie we rescued locally. She was about to be euthanized because she was coming up on a lack of time, unfortunately. So we saved this sweet girl, and she is just a year old. She is a lab pit bull mix. She is a fantastic dog. She has this gorgeous spot on her eye and one on her little ear. Does great with other dogs. So if you have another dog, have been looking to add another into your household, she would be a great fit. She has been leash trained by us. She is great with families that have come in to view her. And again, just $20.
You can't beat that.
No.
You can't beat that. Well, they all look adorable, and I'm sure there's plenty more. And tell us quickly about that event that's happening at PSU today.
Yeah, so PSU, Pittsburgh State University, is having their community fair kid for all of the new college students. And for one of the first times ever, we're going to have a booth there. So I'll be there today at the event, handed out free volunteer information. We'll have some free swag for kids. And then we're also going to have our store manager at the doggy bag resale shop. So we own and operate that shop. 100% of those profits comes back. So it helps buy food, medications, anything that the fur babies need. But we're going to be giving out like free vinyls and labels and stickers and a ton of cool stuff for the college kids today.
Wonderful. Well, that sounds like a blast.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Be sure to check out the SEK Humane Society. If you can adopt one of these adorable animals, it would be a great, great opportunity. And we'll be right back with more after this.
Well, NASA is teaming up with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, to measure pollution. Earlier this year, NASA launched a satellite to measure air quality over North America.
And now it's conducting a separate mission to see the effects of pollution on the ground. Ashley Nanfria has details.
It may be an unusual sight as a large plane soars only 1,000 feet overhead. But inside, researchers are on an important mission as they tackle air pollution.
We can understand the science behind air quality much better than before.
The project is called Aroma, and it studies how air quality has changed over the years at a higher detail.
There's a lot of new sources that we haven't seen in the past.
From the East Coast to the West, NOAA and NASA are focusing on cities with the highest air pollution, and the Central Valley made it to their 2023 list.
It's dominated by agricultural emissions, by oil and gas. There's a lot of transportation. There's also transport into the valley. So there's a lot of things that are happening in this area that are somewhat unusual. And it's also a valley, so it keeps the pollution in.
Researchers flew overhead last week in NASA's DC-8 aircraft, equipped with 30 different instruments to study air quality and chemistry.
In the Central Valley specifically, we're looking at compounds like ammonia, like methane. Those are often from agricultural.
Collecting up-to-date data on which pollutants are causing the most impact.
Volatile chemical products are a large source of pollutants into the atmosphere. So that's day-to-day products that we all use. So those are personal care products, cleaning products, prints, inks, paints on the wall.
What's collected now will help researchers improve the future of air quality and how it's forecasted.
To improve the science that's needed for future modeling, for future understanding of what regulations actually make sense.
Scientists are also taking a close look at several big cities such as New York, Chicago, and Toronto.
The goal is to identify neighborhoods that tend to have more unhealthy air.
That's certainly something that's got to be monitored out there.
I agree. I'll tell you, the air quality going from LA to here, amazing.
I don't doubt it.
I can breathe a lot better out here.
Well, when it's not too bad out like it is this morning and you're off, you've just got to take a drive out into the middle of nowhere, Kansas. Just find some dirt road, go out there, stop, get out. The air is so fresh and so clear and so pleasant. It's just nice to get out there and experience that.
I love that. I will. Thank you, Chris.
It's not really a vacation. It's just a nice, pleasant drive, and you get beautiful scenery to go along with that. So you got to take a chance to do that. And if you have it at home, you should try that as well.
That's right. And coming up, we have the Tyson plant closing, so we'll take a look at how businesses in Knoll are going to be affected.
And we've got, again, a great start to the day across the area, but you're going to start to warm up. We'll take a full look at your forecast when we come back.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. The time now is 7:27 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. Less than a month after Tyson announced the closure of the Knoll plant, local businesses and housing programs in the area are already feeling the impact. According to Knoll Housing Authority Executive Director Rosetta Hartley, out of the 27 Somalian families that are part of the program and are tied to Tyson, 5 have already given notice that they are moving at the end of October and 2 are moving in January. Another local business, Bob's Hometown Pizza's owner, Leanne Parrish, says about 80% of her clients are somehow tied to Tyson. With the closing of the plant, she's sad to see some of them already leaving.
We're just going day by day. I mean, we made it through COVID. We'll make it through this somehow.
We've grown, I've actually really grown to love our Somalian community, and it's going to be difficult for us.
The McDonald County Chamber is organizing another career fair for those looking for jobs. The event will happen on September 28th.
And we've got ourselves a beautiful start to the day out there, taking a live look at our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Clear skies. It is a lovely start to our Tuesday morning across the area. And we'll take a quick look at the MoDOT camera just up the way at 20th and Rangeline. And again, great start to the day. Not that many cars out. Maybe some of you starting the holiday weekend really early. Could be. I know our Joplin Tower cam has been trying to start the holiday weekend a little early this morning. Well, as we get our day started, we're looking at mid-60s by 8. We are going to be a little warmer, so we're talking going about 80 degrees by 11 o'clock this morning with these mostly clear skies. Our temperatures today, again, a little warmer, but right about where they should be. Unfortunately, they're really going to start to heat up as we head into the weekend. We'll take a full look at your forecast and have the latest on Hurricane Idalia here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin.
Thanks, Chris. Well, now that there are more school buses on the roads during the morning commute, drivers must stay vigilant when students are boarding. Parents near 2nd and Schiffendecker in Joplin are concerned about the number of drivers passing school buses while students board. Parents say this has been happening since school started a week ago.
Myself and my neighbor, who lived very close to her, have about 16 children between us. That's not even including the other side of the road. It would be great if they could put up some more signs to try to slow people down or patrol the area more. That's what I would suggest.
According to Missouri law, illegally passing a school bus is a Class A misdemeanor. First-time offenders found guilty could have their license suspended for 90 days. And top-ranked pickleball players from around the world descended on Pittsburgh yesterday. The Pickle and Pit event included playing with the pros, a pickleball clinic, an exhibit match, and signed autographs with some of the top-ranked pickleball players in the world. Proceeds from the fundraiser event go towards the maintenance and enhancements to the Jack Johnson courts and a new pickleball program at the Four Oaks Sports Complex in Lincoln Park. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Charlene Patton joins us all the way from Topeka to make a peach and cherry skillet cobbler.
And as we've mentioned, we've got a beautiful start to our Tuesday across the area. We're looking great for most of this week, but changes are on the way. We'll have a look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Our good friend Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission back once again. We've been out in the garden. We've been out in the orchard. That's kind of the theme for this month. A lot of great recipes, and you've got something new for us today.
I do. We're going to go back to the orchard. We're going to use peaches and cherries. Oh my goodness. And this is a skillet cobbler. We put in, I'm using a iron skillet, but you could use any skillet that you can actually put in the oven.
Okay.
And then what I was telling you, if you don't have a skillet that goes in the oven, you can still fix it and make it here in a baking dish. So what we're going to do is I put in 2 tablespoons of margarine. I'm going to have you turn that down now just a little bit as it's heating up. And now you're going to add our peaches.
Okay.
We'll add that in there. Oh, great. We're just going to kind of saute those a little bit. And then we have a cup of cherries that I pitted. Yeah, I'll add those in there. There. Now you can probably turn that up just a little bit.
Okay.
There we go. Oh, look how nice that looks. Doesn't that look
that's
good?
already looking really good.
Now we're going to add our sugar, and that's a half a cup of sugar, just granulated sugar. And then we have our cornstarch, which is our thickener here.
Okay.
And then we have cinnamon. And we're going to just heat that. We want to get it so that it's nice and bubbly and that it's starting to thicken. And while that is heating up a little bit, I'm going to show you what I did over here. I did these ahead of time, but this is kind of our sweet little biscuit dough.
Okay.
And made these ahead of time, and then find a little cutter. I had a little container so that you get little mini biscuits.
Okay.
But this has our margarine in it. It has soy milk in it and our flour, so more soy ingredients, and a little bit of sugar in this dough to make it nice and sweet.
Okay.
So once this is all bubbly and thickened, then I would take that. If I didn't have a skillet that's going to go in the oven, I would take it and put it into my baking dish.
Okay.
And the reason, Chris, we want to have this nice and bubbly, and it's not bubbling yet, but it'll bubble, is because you want that mixture hot so it'll start baking our little biscuits.
Okay.
So that they don't get soggy on there. But I'm going to go ahead so that we can see how this looks. But look, doesn't that look pretty?
That does.
All that fruit. And then what you do is, now again, we want this to be nice and hot and bubbly. And it isn't there yet, but just to show you, then just put your biscuits right there on top. That makes your little crust for our cobbler, our skillet cobbler here. And this is going to go into a 425 degree oven. So it's going to be hot, and it's going to bake for about 20-25 minutes, but the biscuits are going to get golden brown. There you go. How's that look?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's ready to go in the oven, or again, you could use a baking dish.
Sounds perfect, and it looks amazing getting ready. It looks amazing when it's done. So, of course, as we ask you every time, where can folks go if they want to find out more?
Yes, they should call our 800 number, 877-KS Soybean, and we will mail them all the recipes for August, or they can also go to our website at kansassoybeans.org.
All right, Charlene, thank you. And, of course, if you missed any of that, all of this information on our website as well at KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:39 on this Tuesday morning, and a great Tuesday it is. MoDOT camera 20th and range line showing us clear skies out there, plentiful sunshine, and the same from the MoDOT camera at US 60, Missouri 59, south side of Neosho, and the KDOT camera at 69 East 520th Avenue also showing us that beautiful sunshine as we get our Tuesday started. Our camera 7th and range line, it's doing the same thing as long as it doesn't go on vacation again. All right, we're sitting at 63 in Joplin. Feels like that. Dew point's at 60. Humidity's at 90% out there. And as we look at temperatures around the area, again, a very comfortable start for us. 63 Iola Yates Center, 61 in Pittsburgh, 60 in Parsons, 63 Miami, 61 Neosho Monette, and 63 Lamar and Carthage. As we get our morning started, again, really nice start to the day. Mostly clear skies, starting in the mid-60s. And as we head toward late morning, we're a little warmer today. We're going to go near 80. That's because our high temperatures today, a pinch warmer as well, but they're right about where they should be as we go into the mid to upper 80s with those partly cloudy skies across the area this morning. And then as we head into the evening, an interesting twist to the forecast, if you will, between roughly 5 and 7 p.m., there's the possibility of a stray shower or two. Now, 98% of us won't see anything out of the passing clouds, but a couple of us could get a brief shower out there. So just be aware of that. Otherwise, again, warm, not bad, partly cloudy overnight, and we will remain mild as well as we go back into the mid-60s. So right around where we should be for this time of year. However, the averages aren't going to last, and we're going to talk about that in the extended forecast. We also want to touch on Hurricane Idalia. Okay, so latest update. Now putting the winds at 80, Category 1 hurricane, and by 2 o'clock today, 1 o'clock our time, expect to be Category 2 with winds of 100, gusts to 120, and as it approaches the Great Bend region of Florida, Category 3, so we're talking major hurricane with winds of 120, gusts to 150, and it's expected to make landfall a little less than 24 hours from now, so about 7 a.m. our time, and it will hold its strength as it goes into southern Georgia at Category 1 status, creeps up the Carolina coastline as tropical storm status, right over or very close to Charleston by 2 a.m. on Thursday, and this is why there's a lot of concern about the storm surge, the flooding potential, and all the other concerns with this hurricane. Of course, Franklin, a very textbook hurricane, beautiful view of it, nice eye wall, everything. Thankfully, it is steering clear of the U.S. coast. We do have hurricane warnings for the western coast of Florida and tropical storm warnings for the east coast of Florida, southern Georgia, and tropical storm watches up through the South Carolina coast. So again, something we'll be watching here over the next couple of days for our friends in the south. As for us, again, average temperatures through about Thursday, and then we're going to go slightly above average, 90 on Friday. And then we head in to the long holiday weekend, and we start to really heat up. So we're well above average, and we have the potential to tie or potentially break a couple of records, depending on how hot it gets. We go in the mid-90s. Then next week, some of the newer data, and we've got a long time before we get to here, but it's showing thunderstorm chances next week. And if we get those much-needed rain chances, it'll keep our temperature still hot, but in the low to mid-90s instead of the upper 90s. So something we'll keep an eye on for you. That's a quick check of your forecast. Now here's Caitlin with a check of Consumer Watch.
The DOT has slapped American Airlines with the largest fine ever for holding passengers on board for too long. The U.S. Department of Transportation is ordering American to pay $4.1 million. That's for tarmac delays on 43 flights between 2018 and 2021. 5,800 passengers were impacted. Current rules require airlines to allow passengers the chance to get off the plane after 3 hours on the runway or 4 hours for international flights. Airlines also must provide water and a snack to trapped passengers. Half the money is to go to the government and the other half to passengers. If all the affected American Airlines passengers are paid equally, that amounts to about $350 per person. Shares of Rite Aid plunged Monday after a Wall Street Journal report that the pharmacy giant is preparing to file bankruptcy. According to the Journal, Rite Aid is expected to file for Chapter 11 within weeks. Declaring bankruptcy would halt lawsuits against the company related to the opioid epidemic. In a Justice Department lawsuit against Rite Aid, authorities accuse the pharmacy chain of filling hundreds of thousands of unlawful prescriptions between 2014 and 2019. The complaint alleges that the company ignored red flags and helped fuel America's opioid epidemic. A Rite Aid representative didn't respond to a request for comment on the Wall Street Journal's report about bankruptcy preparations. And Americans are buying electric cars in record numbers, but there are concerns all that charging could put a strain on the electric grid. Reporter Michael George shows us how a new program is giving customers cash to charge at night.
Max Epstein has 2 electric cars, a Tesla Model 3 and a Toyota RAV4.
Going electric was doing our part for the environment, and it saved us a lot on fueling costs.
Electric car sales are up nearly 50% over the past year. Cox Automotive predicts about 1 million EVs will be sold this year, a number experts forecast could quadruple in the next 7 years. But more drivers charging means a growing demand for power. One analysis predicts EVs could boost overall electric use anywhere from 8 to 13% by 2030.
As electric vehicle adoption grows, we expect to see higher demand of electricity on the grid. That means higher stress on the grid, so we really want to be proactive.
Cora Walter is with the utility company Con Edison. She says those proactive moves include grid upgrades to handle demand and a new program called Smart Charge. Customers earn money when they charge during off-peak hours. That's midnight to 8 a.m. and avoid charging from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. in the summer months.
This reduces stress on the grid as we go through this clean energy transition.
Epstein signed up for the program on the first day and estimates he's already made more than $250 this year.
It's actually really easy to adjust as long as your car is charged for your next day's commute or your activities, your errands. You're pretty much good to go.
At least 8 other utility companies nationwide are using similar programs, allowing customers to help save the planet and make a few bucks at the same time. Michael George, CBS News, Briarcliff Manor, New York.
We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Well, it's a festival dating back to 1934. I read your line, but that's okay. It's bringing together people of all different cultures.
You know, it also brings tens of thousands of people from across the country and world to St. Louis. Alex Gull has more.
Foadatu Saini immigrated to the U.S. from Niger 2 decades ago, becoming an entrepreneur and living out the American dream.
I went to school, did healthcare, and then I ended up in business. I love what I do.
She's in town from Georgia to sell her wellness and beauty products, traveling hundreds of miles to take part in one of the St. Louis region's time-honored traditions.
It's a whole village coming together and really show love.
Originating in 1934, the St. Louis Festival of Nations brings together dozens of cultures and tens of thousands of people from across the country and the world. It's 2 full days of song, dance, food, and community in Tower Grove Park.
By coming here, we get to explore and discover the cultures, the rich cultures that live next door to us.
Ario Benson runs the St. Louis International Institute, the organization that puts together this event every year in the Gateway City.
The history of St. Louis has really been written by people coming from all over the world. So our past was built on multiculturalism, and so too must our future.
The costs to operate the festival have increased since the pandemic. This year, the organizers say they are raising additional funds with a service fee on vendor sales. It remains free to attend for the public and runs through weekend's end.
Yeah. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, if you're looking for something to do this holiday weekend, well, there's an opportunity. And I mean, St. Louis is just a short 4-hour drive, but there's also White Castle.
There's that too.
I mean, there's that too. There's
Yeah.
lots of reasons to go up there. The Arch, this festival, lots of great things to do this weekend. It's going to be a little toasty as we head into the weekend. We'll look at your 7-day here in just a few minutes. But let's take a look at what we're expecting as we head into this morning and today. We're looking at 63 in Joplin right now. We got mostly clear skies out there, just a few passing clouds, and around the area looks fantastic. 63 Iola, 62 Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, and Chetopa, 63 Miami, Carthage, Nevada, and we're sitting at 64 in Lamar as we get the day started. So again, we've got just the low to mid 60s out there. A beautiful start to our Tuesday. We are going to be a little bit warmer today. As we go into the morning, we're talking mid-60s, and we'll go into the upper 70s near 80 by late morning with these partly cloudy skies. So, again, just a little bit warmer. We're going to be a little closer to average today. We're looking at highs this afternoon in the mid to upper 80s. So, again, that's warmer than what we've seen. It's not unbearable by any means. It is warmer, but it is about where we should be with those partly cloudy skies out there. So, a great afternoon ahead of us. As we head into the evening, believe it or not, between about 5 and 7, a stray shower or two possible from these partly cloudy skies. I think 98% of us will stay dry, but there is that chance of a stray shower or two. Otherwise, again, partly cloudy skies, nice. And as we go into the evening, we're talking mid-60s for our overnight lows, so a great evening ahead of us. Again, the heat is on. We'll take a look at your 7-day, tell you when those temperatures heat back up, and we'll have the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Less than a month after Tyson announced the closure of the Knoll plant, local businesses and housing programs in the area are already feeling the impact. According to Knoll Housing Authority Executive Director Rosetta Hartley, out of the 27 Somalian families that are part of the program and are tied to Tyson, 7 plan on moving. Another local business, Bob's Hometown Pizza owner Leanne Parrish, says about 80% of her clients are somehow tied to Tyson. And with the closing of the plant, she's sad to see some of them already leaving. A new law in Missouri will take a more hands-off approach to the way you drive. The Siddons-Benning hands-free law goes into effect today, and it's not just cell phones, but it's ensuring that all emergency personnel also is using it. Penalties will go into effect January 1st, 2025. And the Federal Trade Commission processed 2.4 million fraud reports in 2022 with an $8.8 billion price tag. According to the FTC, identity theft and imposter scams top the list. Imposter scams happen when someone pretends to be a trusted person to get you to either send them money or give out personal information. When they get the details they need, that's when it goes south. Scammers don't just target the elderly. Officer Rhonda Andres with the Baxter Springs Police Department says imposter scams like this are becoming all too common. And according to the Federal Trade Commission, for every 5 imposter scam attempts, at least one person loses money. And the U.S. Department of Agriculture plans to make a sizable investment in the sunflower state. The USDA is investing $49.1 million to help rural utilities build and improve clean drinking water and sanitary wastewater systems in rural Kansas. Some of those grants and loans will go to Neosha County and the cities of Girard and Humboldt for various projects, such as construction of a new booster pump, water system refurbishment, the replacement of miles of mains, and improvements to a supply intake system.
All right, so we're talking mid to upper 80s today, so a little warmer, but average, and we hold on to average temperatures through at least Thursday. Friday, we go 2 or 3 degrees above average at 90, and as we head into the holiday weekend, temperatures really start to warm up. We go into the low to mid 90s, watching some storm chances next week. Otherwise, again, well above average as our temperatures hang out in the low to mid 90 range.
All right, well, when life gives you lemons, make some juice.
Today is National Lemon Juice Day. August 29th is the perfect day for a refreshing squeeze of lemonade, or you can add it into your cooking. The acid in lemons can enhance the flavor in salads, sauces, or beverages.
Maybe visit a bakery and grab a lemon bar or muffin. Fun fact, lemons have been around for millions of years. The sour fruit originated in the Himalayan mountains, but now they are grown in temperature climates.
Interesting. I did not know that the lemon had been around that long.
Oh yeah, you
Makes
can
sense.
also use some lemon to squeeze in your hair if you want to make it blonder. So there's another fun fact for lemon juice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of fun facts with lemon juice around there, so go out there and get some. So you never know. Could come in handy at some point.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.